I gotta be honest. For all my videos, like all my theory videos, my scripted videos, I always want to have like a funny intro kind of thing before I get to my actual introduction to the video and then like my actual intro. Like I always want to have like something funny at the beginning. Walter. It's honestly amazing to see how far FNaF has come. The series started as a failing game developer's last attempt at making a game after his previous game got criticized because the main character looked like a scary animatronic animal. Scott Cawthon responded to this criticism by making an intentionally scary game as his last attempt at making video games, also including dark secrets behind the game, including the downfall of the restaurant Freddy Fazbear's Pizza after a missing children incident taking place years prior, and also possibly an idea of our player, the security guard working at Freddy's, being the son of the killer of the 5 missing kids, whose bodies had been stuffed into the animatronics, now still aware and possessing the animatronics in the restaurant, trying to kill you because you look just like their killer. That was the extent of the storyline of Five Nights at Freddy's, but after the success of the first game, Scott created more, and more, and more, building on the story each time and likely finally completing his full idea of the story around the 5th or 6th game, but leaving it open-ended so that if he wanted to, he could expand on it further in the future, which he does end up doing. But as time progressed, the fanbase of Five Nights at Freddy's grew more and more frustrated with the complexity of Scott's storytelling. Books released, debates ensued, and now many people, including me myself, a FNaF theorist who doesn't plan on stopping anytime soon, are starting to dislike the state of theorizing today, and that's why in today's video, we're going to be talking about the problem with FNaF theorizing today. There's a lot of theories that I personally don't think are very strong, and some that I believe have so much going against it, or there's so much evidence for the contrary, that I don't see it as possible anymore. The biggest example of this for me is Mike Victim. I don't really see Mike Victim as possible anymore, despite the fact that when I first joined the community around 4 years ago now, and up until the release of Step Closer, I strongly believed it. But nowadays, I actually realize its flaws and see the evidence for Mike Bro, and I've believed it for over 2 years. But a lot of people who do believe in Mike Victim are pretty cool people, at least I think so. But there's also some people, and this goes for believers of basically any theory, to be honest, who get incredibly offended whenever someone disagrees with their theory. Some people just take theorizing way too seriously. There's one guy, whose name I won't say, but you may know who I'm talking about, who basically gets into debates all the time, and people would often make fun of him because a lot of his theories were really absurd, and he would respond by doing the same to other people, even going as far to say that they are delusional. Now, both sides of the arguments with this guy are in the wrong. FNaF is literally just a video game about a bear, and people just take theorizing way too seriously. The point of theorizing is to come up with ideas for what the story of FNaF is. The story is so vague that we have to come up with ideas based around what we are presented with. If everybody agreed with each other about everything, then there would be absolutely no point of theorizing. Debates are fine, usually, because you're sharing ideas and explaining reasons certain ideas could be true or could not be true. But debates often end up getting really toxic, which is why I try not to get into debates anymore. Even if it's with nice people, if it's in a server, then someone might join in who turns a friendly debate into a toxic one. Honestly, a lot of my own Discord server is toxic, and I'm going to be making a new server soon where I'll probably focus more on getting good mods and preventing toxicity, but the current state of my current server, is genuinely really bad. People can believe something stupid, come up with stupid theories, but that doesn't automatically translate to them being stupid because of their opinions on the story of the funny bear game. I mean, some people could be a bad theorist in your opinion, but that doesn't make them stupid. Hell, you could think that I'm a bad theorist. I mean, to each their own. It's really subjective. Like, if you disagree with a theory and you think a theorist is bad, that's up to you, obviously, but that doesn't mean they're stupid. The problem is that too many people take it way too seriously. But theorizing, for me, is just for fun. If someone believes something I find to be stupid, I don't care. I'll try to convince them otherwise, if I care enough to try, but if I don't succeed, then it's whatever. People are entitled to their own opinions. Believing the bite victim was revived only to die again and possess the animatronic he was stuffed inside the first time doesn't make you stupid. Believing the bite victim died and then set out to fix his father's mistakes, despite there being literally no motivation for him to do that, doesn't make you stupid. Believing the bite victim is the player of FNaF 4 doesn't make you stupid. Believing sister location is before FNaF 1 doesn't mean you stupid. These are only theories, and believing them does not make you stupid, even if the theory itself is. There's a lot of theories out there that make a lot of sense. Some of these have basically become normal for most people. Some theories have become facts by now. But some theories have actual conflicting evidence, which I mean it's a theory, so that happens all the time. The problem stems from when people ignore this evidence. I'll be honest, sometimes I do ignore evidence, at least some evidence, against my theory, and just plan to do a theory on the video on... Wait, what? I just said a theory on a video. I meant, I just plan to do a video on the theory later on, but unlike most people, I actually look into the supposedly conflicting evidence and come up with an explanation for that makes sense to me. And I did this with my blob video, but I always realize when one of my theories is just that, a theory. I've done videos in the past on theories that by now have become basic facts, but the majority of my theory videos are just about theories. That's all they are. Is it a fact that Shadow Freddy is the animatronic outside the window in Midnight Motorist? No, but to me it's most likely. Is it a fact that Charlotte's spirit has spread throughout the staff bots in the Pizzaplex to the point where her mind is fragmented and her memories are basically gone? I mean, some people think that's an absurd theory, but to me it makes the most sense. But it's not a fact. Is it a fact that the original missing children are still inhabiting the blob? Not really, but again, I find it to be most likely. These are just a few examples of some theories that I personally believe. Again, as I've said, it doesn't mean that you have to believe them. You can disagree with them all you want. Because if you and I agreed on everything, then there would be no point to theorizing. The problem is just that way too many people treat their theories as facts and judge other people for not believing their theory. I see this way too often, and I think it's a big reason why theorizing has gone downhill in the past couple of years. But then we also have the opposite problem that is just as destructive. You guys have no idea how often I hear the excuse of, "It's not a fact until Scott confirms it." This excuse is annoying because of two things. One, many theories have gained so much evidence over time that by now they pretty much are facts. If there's a lot of evidence for a theory to the point where it is basically being spelled out for us and thrown in our faces, then yeah, that we can consider it a fact. And second of all, these are Scott's games and these are Scott's books. If a theory is confirmed by a game or a book, then that quite literally is Scott confirming it. A theory that has existed pretty much since the Fourth Closet came out is Molten MCI, the idea that the Fun Times have Remnant in them and that Remnant is made of the spirits from the original Missing Children incident. This theory came from the Fourth Closet, or at least was boosted by the Fourth Closet, because the Fourth Closet literally blatantly tells us that it's true. Somehow this wasn't enough for people to realize it is canon, and somehow it still isn't enough that each of Candy Cadet's stories represent a different element of Molten MCI, or the fact that Henry blatantly tells us Molten MCI is canon multiple times throughout FNaF 6. Scott hasn't confirmed it directly from his own mouth, but he has confirmed it with his games and his books. Molten MCI is one example of a theory turned fact, and the way that Molten MCI actually works also confirms that sister location is after FNaF 1, but this is still ignored by people. So many people discredit facts just because of one thing that is extremely easily explained away. For example, the odor, which is funny because the odor doesn't actually even work, because, I mean, even if sister location was before FNaF 1, Michael wouldn't stink because Remnant heals you, so he's not really a dead body anymore. So the odor doesn't work, even if this location is before FNaF 1. But that can't be used as evidence. Actual facts confirmed by games and books are completely ignored by people just because of one bad piece of evidence. The problem is that people become so attached to their theories that they don't want to leave them, and I am guilty of this sometimes, but I actually realize when a theory has gotten to the point where it's essentially a fact. I recognize things when they are blatantly confirmed, and I recognize when they aren't quite. But people ignore when they are blatantly confirmed and believe the thing that they want to be canon, or believe what someone else says. I'm not bashing anyone specific here, by the way, I'm just trying to say that the mindset doesn't really make any sense. Some things are confirmed by the games and or the books, and you can't just ignore it because it doesn't fit what you believe. Another excuse I often hear is, I guess we have to wait for the next game or book to release to know for sure, which is honestly just incorrect. While yes, future books and games may debunk or confirm certain things in the future, we are given information now to try and solve stuff. If you wait for the future to theorize, then by then everything will already be solved, because we get new stuff every book, every game, so if you wait, then you will never theorize until the end of the series, and at this point, Who knows if that'll ever come. But we have been given the information to solve stuff already. It's just a matter of putting the pieces together. And honestly, while we may get hints, the future games and books probably won't even tell us this kind of stuff for sure. It's always vague. That's literally the entire reason for theorizing. So basically, no. We shouldn't be waiting for the next piece of FNaF media to theorize. We should do it now. And if your idea gets debunked or confirmed in the future, so be it. And the final issue that I see with FNaF theorizing nowadays is believing everything any theorist says. Over 2 months ago, MatPat made a theory about the blob, and I did a reaction video to it, as I always do with MatPat's theories, and as I always do, I gave my thoughts on MatPat's theory. That blob theory was one of those game theories that I didn't really agree with at all, and I said that in the video. It was nothing against MatPat himself. He seems like a great guy. If I met him in real life, I'd get a picture. Hell, I wish I would. But the theory itself was just not good to me. And I said that, and I gave my thoughts as to what I think the blob actually is, planning to do my own full theory on the blob in the future, which I did. So I uploaded that video and continued with my day. I checked back on the video and found many dislikes and hate comments on the video with people bashing me for my theory, and I wasted probably an hour or two having to reply to these people and explain my side. Remember that I hate theory debates, so even after just one reply, I was just done. But nope, about 5 more text walls to respond to. And I have no problem with people agreeing with MatPat or disagreeing with me. The problem is just that MatPat has such a high position in the FNaF theorist community that so many people just see him as God and believe everything that he says, despite the fact that even he doesn't believe everything he says. Remember MCI85, a theory that I'm starting to believe? Maybe it's true, but most people believe it only because MatPat said so. You know Golden Duo, the theory MatPat made popular yet didn't give any evidence to, or at least didn't explain why what he was saying was evidence? I believe Golden Duo, but most of the people who believe it just because MatPat said so. And there's many more examples. The problem is just that a lot of theories, some being true and some being dead wrong, are suggested by MatPat, and people just blindly follow what he says without question, despite the fact that he doesn't actually give good evidence. That blob theory I mentioned? He had basically 2 pieces of evidence, one being wrong and one being literally impossible. I have since made my own video on the blob, and I encourage you to check it out if you haven't yet, but the point is that MatPat isn't God, but so many people believe everything he says, without realizing that they don't make sense. And it's not just MatPat either. Theorists like Rytoast, Ozone, even myself constantly make theories, and some people just believe them blindly, and whether they are true or not, it's best to just take into consideration the evidence given and come to a conclusion yourself. That's how I became Golden Duo, and I still believe it today. I really hope you guys understand my points here. While I consider myself a FNaF theorist, I hate getting into debates just because the state of theorizing has gone way downhill in recent years. And although many people are very nice and you could actually have a peaceful discussion, I prefer not getting into debates just because it's easy for things to go sideways. Theorizing, while enjoyed by many people including me, has grown problems over the years, so that's why I wanted to make this video. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and I can't speak. If you did, then please leave a like and subscribe if you want to. And despite the tone of this video and how I explain problems with theorizing, I'm not going to stop it anytime soon, and I have more theories planned for the future. So stay tuned, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.
Morning.